This conference will now be recorded.
Now is it fine? Now are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So there was a small technical issue here. Okay, fine. So yeah, as I was saying, okay, so I was just asking you, uh, if I introduce capital to the business, okay, let's say I'm introducing some 50 lakhs of capital to the business, okay, so in which voucher will we enter the capital introduced? Which voucher will be used to enter capital introduced to the business? Come on. Which voucher will you use when we introduce capitals? You said you already have used the AP9. So which voucher is being used to introduce capital when you have to enter the capital to the business? Okay, fine. All right. So now let's say, for example, let's go to the vouchers. That is, let's say we go to pass some transaction. So if I'm going to pass a transaction, I come to this screen called as vouchers. Okay. So when I come to this vouchers here, okay, now here we basically have, okay, so we basically have four different types of vouchers. I mean, four or many types of vouchers that we have. Now, first of all, let's say if I press F4, contra voucher. For what is this contra voucher used for? Why do we use contra voucher?
The transaction which include bank transaction as well as cash.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what about F5, payment voucher? For what do you use payment voucher for?
If we made any purchases to make payment, we will use payment voucher.
Okay, so basically it means for all your expenses whenever the money goes out of the business. Now, what about F6, receipt voucher? Why do we use receipt voucher?
When we make any income, we receive
To
the
record the
That's right. All your incomes will be recorded in this particular voucher. Okay. So now, okay, these are the basic vouchers. Now tell me, so if I introduce capital to the business, okay, if capital comes to the business, which voucher will I use?
receipt
Contra
voucher.
payment receipt. Ah, fantastic. Receipt voucher. So money is coming into the business. Okay. So if you see here on this voucher screen, on the right hand side itself, you have all the shortcut keys. Same way like Tally ERP9. Even here, you have the shortcut keys: F4 contra, F5 payment, F6 receipt, journal, sales, purchase, and you want to work on other different types of vouchers, then you use F10. Okay, here it will show you other vouchers, okay, which are active, basically which are activated. If you want to see the vouchers which are inactive, meaning to say you have to activate it separately. For that, here itself you have show inactive. So when I click on this, okay, so it shows all the vouchers which can be used in Tally Prime. Okay, whichever we used in Tally AP9, same voucher type of vouchers which can be used for different purposes. All the vouchers will be present over here. Okay, so F10 is the shortcut key that is from the voucher screen. F10 is the shortcut key to see or view all the vouchers. You go to F10, say show inactive, and there you have all the different types of vouchers. Okay, so this is how it is. So we are in receipt voucher. Now, if I have to change the date of this particular voucher, okay, let's say I want to make it as 2nd April 2021. So what's the shortcut key to change the date?
F2.
F2.
Fantastic, F2. So 2nd April 21. I get the date. Now, when I'm introducing capital here, okay, let's say let's take a question. Okay, let me type a question here. Okay, let's say capital introduced rupees 50 lakh. Okay, this 50 lakh is being split up. That is, I'm bringing this 50 lakh in different ways. That is rupees 20 lakh by HDFC Bank. Okay, next rupees 10 lakh by ICICI Bank, and rupees another 20 lakh by cash. Okay, so this is the question here. Okay, where I'm introducing capital of rupees 50 lakhs, and this 50 lakhs include 20 lakhs by HDFC Bank, 10 lakhs by ICICI Bank, and 20 lakhs by cash. Okay, so how do you think we pass this transaction? What basically comes on the credit side and what will come on the debit side?
Capital account debtor to HDFC bank account, ICICI bank account, and cash account.
Okay, fantastic. So let's come back to this tally. Okay, so I already changed the date. So here I have to create as capital account. Okay, now if you see here, basically only after we create the ledgers we'll be able to pass the transaction. But here I have directly come to the vouchers. But even from the voucher screen, we have the option to create the ledgers. So what is the way, or how do we basically do it? Or do you have any shortcut key to do it? Yeah, I guess we have the shortcut. What is the shortcut key? I think someone said something.
Sir, F6 is the shortcut key for receipt voucher.
Okay, we are already received watch F6. Now, what is my question is that here I have to. One of you said that here got a capital account debtor to cash to bank account. That's a entry. The entry is correct. Now, if I have to enter here on the credit side as capital account, what will I enter? How will I enter? That is, I'm here on this.
Have to create a ledger for
Yeah, we have to create a ledger. So from the voucher screen, where do we create it? How do we create it from the voucher screen?
gateway of tally, accounts info and ledger create.
Okay, so okay, fine. So you need to say you come back to the gateway of tally screen, you go to this create option and do it. Okay, so basically here, as you said, we don't have accounts info, inventory info in tally ERP9. I'm sorry, tally prime, just like how we have in ERP9. In tally prime here, we have it as create, alter, and chart of accounts. Okay, create means to say if you want to create any new ledgers or groups or currencies. Alter is used to alter it or delete it, and chart of accounts is used to display. But whereas in tally ERP9 you have accounts info, inventory info. That is, from gateway of tally you go to accounts info, from accounts info you go to ledgers, from ledgers you go to single or multiple ledger. But here it is not like that. Here what you do is if you have to create, just go click on this option called as create, and they will have see groups, ledgers, currencies, and all the things. So ledgers I can create from here. Alter, you will have the same options, but you will have the option to alter it or delete the ledgers. Chart of accounts is used to display whatever the ledgers you have created. Those things can be displayed here. Ledgers or groups or currencies what you have created, those can be created over here. Okay, so yeah, so as one of you said that we have to first create the ledgers and come. Yes, we can do that option as well, but we also have the option to create the ledgers from the voucher screen as well. That is, I'm in the receipt screen, I'm in the receipt voucher screen here. From here I have the option to create the ledger. Okay, there are basically three ways in tally prime. In tally ERP9 you had only one shortcut key, that is alt plus C. Okay, that is, If I keep it under the particulars column, see this cursor, that's my cursor is here under the particulars column. And now when I press Alt C, Alt plus the letter C, okay, Alt C, see you get the ledger creation screen here. You can create the ledger. This is one method. So let's say capital account. So, and you will have the groups. So how many groups do we have in Tally? How many default groups? Already created default groups. How many are there? Anyone?
28.
28. Yes, fantastic. So already 28 groups are already created in Tally. So already I'm creating here the first ledger name as capital account, and I'm giving the group as capital account. And I directly save Control A. Now, what is the total capital account amount? It's 50 lakhs.
50 lakhs.
Yes, I put 50 lakhs over here. So capital account 50 lakhs on my credit side, and current balance 50 lakhs. That is 50 lakhs is in the this thing in that particular ledger. Now, next, it's HDFC bank account. That is 20 lakhs. So I can use the same shortcut key, that is Alt C, and create the next ledger. Or I have the second method of creating the ledger. That is, you see on the right hand side, you can see all the ledgers present here, capital account and cash. Now, if I want to create a new ledger, here itself, I have the option to create. Okay, I create. See, I get the same ledger creation screen. So I put it as HDFC bank account. So HDFC bank account, under which group I can put this under?
Bank account.
Bank account.
Fantastic. So I go to bank account and I just save it. There's no need for me to enter all these details. Okay, just it's not required for now. So I'm just saving it. So HDFC bank account, I'm putting 20 lakhs. I'm bringing 20 lakhs as capital from HDFC bank account. Okay, and this bank allocation screen, I just save it. Next, I have ICICI bank account where I have to put 10 lakhs. Okay, so two methods I showed you. First method, you keep it under the particulars column, you press Alt plus C, it will take you to the ledger creation screen. The second method, on your right hand side, you have this option called as create, where you have all the list of ledgers. So when you click on this create, it will take you to the same ledger screen. You can create it and you can bring it over here on the voucher screen. Now, the third method to create a ledger. Okay, this option, we don't have it in Tally API 9. It's a newer option which is brought into Prime, which is very helpful for all our transactions and everything. Okay, so I'm right here, David. So what I'll do is, here on the top, you have something called as go to. Go to means to say that whatever the transaction you're passing, from the same transaction screen, you can go to some other screen and come back to the same transaction. That is, your transaction, what you've done, will not be deleted or will not be erased or gone. Okay, go to means to say that you can go to any screen. Let's say you can go to balance sheet, you can go to profit and loss account, you want to go to your day book, you can go check and you can come back to the same screen. Or you want to create something, you can go create it and come back to the same screen. Okay, so here you have the capital account, okay, cash and HDFC bank. Okay, the only three ledgers are present here. If you see on the right hand side, only three ledgers are present. I want to create here as ICICI bank account. So what I do is I click on go to, that is basically Alt G. Now, as you see here, as you can see, you have this balance sheet, profit and loss, cash, day book, ledger, various things you have here. The only thing that I want to do is I want to create a ledger as ICICI bank account. So I go to this heading called as create master, and there you have it, ledger. Okay, again I'll repeat, again I'll show you. From here, I click on Alt G or click on this go to. Here I go to create master and I go to ledger. There you have it, right? So same ICICI bank account, I put it in short bank account and I save it. Okay, I saved it. So after I save, it will refresh it and it will bring out the next screen. So I can create multiple ledgers from here itself. So it's only ICICI Bank I wanted to create. I created. I escape. I just keep pressing the escape key. See, I come back to the same screen. And if you see on the right hand side, the ICICI Bank is up here. Okay. So these are the three methods in which you can create your ledgers. So ICICI Bank 10 lakhs. And finally, is your cash. Now, can anyone tell me what are the two default ledgers or the two ledgers which are already created in Tally?
Bank account and cash account.
The no, bank account is considered as a group, right? It can't be as a ledger. Default ledgers. What are the two default ledgers created in Tally? Cash is correct. Okay, cash is correct. What about the other
Profit
one?
and loss account and cash account.
Fantastic. Profit and loss and cash account. So profit and loss and cash account are the two default ledgers which are already created. So there's no need for me to create another cash account since I already have it over here. So I just select the cash and remaining 20 lakhs goes over there. Okay. And I give the narration being capital introduced. Fine. So this is how it is. So can anyone tell me why I brought in the capital first? Why did I do this particular transaction? Why is capital needed in a business?
So we have to invest the capital to start the business there.
That's right. So in order to start a business or in order to run a business, you require capital. So that is why I introduced capital over here. Okay, so as to whenever if you have to start working on a GST transaction, so if you have to do some purchases or sales, or if you are paying to someone, for that we have to have some amount in our business. So that is why I introduced this capital in receipt voucher. Okay, and one of you have asked me, capital should be in debit side. Okay, no, capital won't be under debit side. Okay, uh, so basically we use this rule. What is that? The nominal account rule. What is the rule for nominal account?
Debit all income and gains and
Debit
Uh,
all expense and losses,
Debit
credit
all
all income
expenses
and
and
gains.
losses, credit all incomes and gains.
Fantastic. Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So capital is an income. Okay, so credit capital account. Credit all incomes and gains. So capital is an income, so it comes under the credit side. Okay, so if you take the payment voucher, debit all expenses. So debit will be there first and all expenses will be written. Whereas receipt voucher, it's credit all incomes and gains. Okay, so that is why we have entered capital under credit side. Okay, and the other modes in which that is the how the amount is coming in by cash or by bank, that we enter it on the debit side. Right, one of you have asked a question here, why capital should be in debit side. So this is the answer. We use the nominal account rule. That's the reason why capital is coming under the credit side. Okay, I guess your doubt is clear. Okay, now, so the capital is brought into the business. All right, now the next step. Okay, what we have to do is, let's say we have to start working on this GST transactions. So before we start working on these transactions, we have to create few masters. Okay, few masters have to be created, just like how we created the ledgers, and for each of these ledgers how we selected the groups, all the things we did it in the accounting masters. Now we will go on with inventory masters. Inventory masters are basically deals with all your stocks. Okay, if anyone is using Tally ERP9, from gateway of Tally you go to inventory info. There you'll get these options. Whereas if you're using Tally Prime, directly you go to create option. From gateway of Tally you go to create option, go to this heading called as inventory masters, and there you will have all these masters which you have to create. Okay, now Now coming to these masters, step by step we will do. Okay, one by one we will do so that we can clearly understand what exactly it is. Okay, now before we go on with the stocks, stocks are nothing but called as your items, the goods that you're purchasing. Okay, TV, fridge, books, all these things come basically considered as a stocks. Okay, this stock part, what we do is we come to this later. Now first thing what we do is we'll go on with this unit. Okay, in Tally ERP9 it is called as units of measure. In Tally Prime we have it as unit. Okay, unit is basically the thing which is used to measure the quantity or measure the stocks. Now, for example, if I say this, how do we say this? Okay, how do you measure the rice? Okay, rice, how is it measured?
kg.
Kgs, or what else? What are the other ways? Other ways in which you measure? Kgs, then
kgs, numbers, meter.
okay. How can you put numbers and meters for rice? We can't put numbers and meters for rice. We can put kgs, fine, for rice and
Quintals.
okay, quintals, yes. Next, bags, bags of rice, quintals of rice, kgs of rice, right? Like that. So basically, these units of measure, okay, these are basically used to measure the quantity of a product. Okay, used to express or used to say what exactly is the product is, what type of a product, how it is basically measured and things. Okay, that's what it is. So that's what is this unit of measure. Okay, so as you see here, units are the symbols which are used to measure the quantity of each and every stock, and basically stock items we call it as. Okay, so when we see in Tally, when we come in Tally, work on Tally, there are basically two types of units of measure, two ways in which we measure the quantity. Okay, so when I come to this, okay, gateway of Tally create, I go to unit and I have. Okay, so there are basically two ways in which you create the units of measure. One is simple and one is compound. Simple unit of measure is to create a single unit or a single quantity, whereas compound unit of measure is used to combine two simple units to make one compound unit. Okay, again I repeat, simple unit is nothing but a single unit or one particular unit of measure. Whereas if you see the compound unit is combination of two simple units to form one of the compound unit. Okay, that's what this. That's what is the definition for the simple and the compound unit of measure. Okay, as you can see here as well. Okay, simple unit of measure is related to a single unit to measure the quantity of the product of a particular single product. Whereas compound unit of measure, UOM means to say unit of measure, it is used to calculate two simple units combined in one for wholesale business. That is, two of this simple unit of measure is combined to form one compound unit of measure. Okay, so that is how that is what is the definition for this. Okay, now how do we create them? How it is basically created? So I have here the normal few of the examples to create the simple unit of measure, like kgs, grams, boxes, bags, numbers, packets, liters, cents. Okay, so we'll see one by one to create it. Now to go and create it in Tally, okay, same from gateway of Tally. Okay, you come to this create, you go to this unit and you select as simple. Okay, you have to see if you're on simple, and then you create your symbols here. Now, when you come to the symbol, the first one which we saw was kgs. So KGS, that is what I enter here. The formal name for it, kilograms. KGS, formal name is kilograms. Next, you'll have something called as UQC, unit quantity code. Okay, this is nothing but the same thing what you have entered here. Same, kg is kilograms. The same thing you will have it here as well. Sometimes you can activate this option or you don't need to activate it. Okay, If you have this, you just select as kgs as kilograms, which is already been present over here. Number of decimal places I don't require. I just put it as 0 itself. Okay. So once again I repeat. So once I come to the screen, I see first if what is the type. The type should be as simple. Coming to the symbol, I put as kgs. That is the short form, the symbol name. Next, I come for the formal name. That is the full form of the symbol what I have written. Unit quantity code. Okay, I select as kilograms, kgs, and decimal place 0. I don't require any decimal places, so that is why I'm just putting it as 0. Okay, and I save it. So like this, I go on creating all the simple units of measure. So GRM, grams. In this, you will have it in different way. Let's say if you just type of G, okay, here as you can see, it says Grammys. You can just select it. Okay, the related word kind of thing. Next, NOS, numbers. NOS numbers. Again, I collect the unit quantity over as NOS. Next, PKT, packets. Here in unit quantity code, you can select as packs. Okay. Next, you can put as LTR, liters. In this, you will not have, in unit quantity code, you will not have it as liters. You will basically have it as milliliters. So you can select it. Or if you say you want only liters as such, I mean, if you're not able to find the related word also, you can just select as not applicable and save it. Okay. Next, BG, bags. And here I select bag. Next, BX, box. Okay, and I have a box. I say next I have set. Okay, so like this I can go on creating the units of measure. Okay, any doubt in this simple unit of measure? Anyone? Any doubt in creating the simple unit of measure? Okay, I guess you don't have any doubts. Fine. Now I'll save this. Now coming to the next one. Once we have done the simple unit of measure, the next thing that we have to create is a compound unit of measure. Okay, as I said, compound unit of measure is a combination of two simple units to make one compound unit. So here I have your example. Now if you see here, bag, BG, bag of 50 kgs. That means one bag contains 50 kgs. That's what it means. Now if you take the second one, packet of 50 grams, box of 12 numbers, set of 12 packets, liters of 15 kg. So like this, you're just combining two simple units to form one particular compound unit. Okay. Now let's come to time. Now, how to create this compound unit of measure? How we do it? Okay. So let's say I'm in the same screen. So what I do is I press the backspace. Backspace, as you know, it goes to the previous tab above. Okay, backspace, I select compound. So you have all the simple units of measures which I just created. So if you have to create this component of measure, first you have to create all your simple units of measure, and only then you can create your compound unit of measure. So the first example what I had for component of measure was bag of 50 kgs. That means bag contains 50 kgs. So BG of 50 kgs. That is how it is. Okay, the first unit is bag, conversion of 50, bag of 50, second unit is kgs, bag of 50 kgs. So one bag contains 50 kgs. That's what it is. Okay, I save it. Now for the next one, packet of 50 grams, packet. 50 grams. Okay. Next, box of 12 numbers. Box of 12 numbers. Okay. Set of 12 packets. Set of 12 packets. Okay. Next, liters of 15 kgs. Okay. So like this, you can go on create. Okay. Now, if you want to still more explanation about this, we can do it in times as well. Let's say, for example, let's take as HRS hours. Okay, there's no need of this thing. Hours. Next, MIN minutes. SEC seconds. Okay. Now what I did was I created hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay. This why I created was just for your understanding. Okay. These I created in simple unit of measure. Now, for how do we use the compound unit of measure? Okay. Let's take hours of. Can anyone tell me? Can anyone give me? Tell me how can we do this for compound unit of measure for this time, hours, minutes, and seconds? Anyone? Hours of what and what? Come on, students, answer. What can we put here?
Hours of 60 minutes.
Fantastic. Hours of 60 minutes. That's right. Okay. Same way. Next, minutes of 60 seconds.
Seconds.
Yes, that's right. Now, did you understand how this compound unit of measure is done? Okay. So this is how it is. So just bringing it. Let's say if you just saw here what I did, hours of 60 minutes, minutes of 60 seconds. Okay, basically, it is combination of both into one. Okay, that's what is this compound unit of measure. If you had understood this, then it is fine. Okay, so this is how I did the component of measure. Bags of 60 numbers. That means one bag contains 60 numbers. That's what it basically is. Okay, so this is how you create your simple unit of measure and your compound unit of measure. Okay, so once I'm done, let's say I want to check all these simple and compound unit of measure, both what I have done, what we just did now. I want to check it. Okay, so you can go to chart of accounts. That is from gateway of tally screen, you go to chart of accounts. There you go to units, and there you have it. You can see on the left hand side bag. All these highlighted or darker ones which are highlighted are basically the simple units, and the one below that is the compound unit of measures. Okay, so this is how you create your simple and your compound unit of measure. Okay, does anyone have any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is what is your first thing that we do in this event. Units of measure are basically called as units in this thing and tally prime. Okay, so units of measure, we basically created simple and compound units of measure, and we also check for it. Okay, now the next thing that we have to do, or next thing which we have to create in our inventory or in our masters, is that, let's say I come to gateway of tally, create. Okay, and I have something called as go downs. Okay, sometimes it will be called as go downs, or sometimes also it is called as locations. Okay, location or go down, any of these, either of these names will be mentioned over there, go downs or location. Okay, so what basically is a godown? How can you define a godown? What is a godown?
The the place where stock items were stocked. Says
Yes, that's right. A place where all your stocks are generally stored. Okay, so you purchase something or you want to store some of your goods, or because let's say for example you have an office, you have your office and you want to store some stocks. You can't store all your goods or your stocks in your office or your working environment. Okay, there has to be some location or place where all these goods have to be stored. Okay, where you have bulk number of goods or various number of goods which has to be stored. So that particular time, at that particular time, you have to store these particular stocks or these particular goods over there. Okay, so in a tally, basically, or in tally, or basically normally, if you have more than one go down, okay, that is, you have more than one place where you have stored the stocks, okay, and you want to record the movement of these stocks, or you want to check where exactly your stock is or how your stock is basically moving. So we basically have these multiple go downs present. Okay, for that also we have particular vouchers to be recorded as well when you're transferring stocks from go down to go down. Okay, so generally every business has a particular go down so that it stores stocks or their goods and okay. So in Tally Prime we either call it as go downs or we call it as location. Okay, that is what it is. Godowns or location is the name which is given in tag. So as if you have to define it, okay, just as you said, a place where you store your stocks. Okay, so a place where all your stocks are generally kept. And by default, Tally creates one location called as main location, or godown called as main location. That's a goal. Okay. Now let's go and check for this default name which is already created. So I want to check the main location or the name which is already present or which is already being created in Tally. So what I can do is I can go either to alter or I can go to chart of accounts. Okay, alter, go down, see main location. Already that name is entered. This is just like how we have those groups, 28 groups which are already created. Same way here we have the main location which is already created here. So either if you want, you can change the name of it, but you cannot delete this default names. So whatever is defaultly created in Tally, you won't be able to delete it. So I won't be able to delete this particular name, but I can change the name of this. Okay, that's what it is. So that is your main location or the default name which is already created. Okay, so as I said here, the default go down can be altered but cannot be deleted. Okay, and as I was saying, if you have more number of places or more number of storage areas or more number of go downs and you want to track the movement of stock, multiple go downs need to be created. Okay, so this is particularly known as a go downs. Okay, place where you store your stocks. So now let's start creating it. So what I'll do is I'll just create the names as simple names like unit 1, unit 3, unit 4. I just give some numbers with the name as unit and create it. Or let's say I can also create it as Jnagar go down or Banchakri go down. Like this I can create it. Okay, so what I'll do is come to gateway of Tally. I'll press escape and come to gateway of Tally. Go to create, and what I'll do is I'll go to go down. Okay, so when I come to this go down, it shows you this screen. In Tally ERP9, you have to activate it. That is by pressing F11, F2, maintain multiple go downs. Yes, that is in Tally ERP9, you have to do it. Okay, in Tally ERP9, again I repeat, from gateway of Tally, you press F11, then you press F2, then you go to this heading called as maintain multiple go downs and make it as yes, then the go down will be activated. But in Tally Prime, in this particular version, what we are working on, there is no need for you to press F11 always. No need to press F11, F2, and go on and creating it. Go on creating or activating it basically. Okay, there's no need to do for it. What you can do is directly if you want to activate anything or you want to work on anything, you just go to that particular option You go to that particular option or particular heading, and you'll get like this option. Main location exists by default for company. Do you want to alter main location or create a new? Go down and say as create. Okay, if you want to create, just say create new. If you want to alter the name as main location, you can say as alter existing location. Okay, that is how you do it. Okay, so let's say I alter C as main location. So I'll change it to, let's say, Jnagar. Go down. Jnagar, go down. Alias means to say any other name for it. In short, you want to give any name for that. Okay, if you want, you can give it, but I'm just skipping it. And under will always be as primary itself. If you see on the right hand side also, it will be only primary. There's no need to change this. Just enter the name for the go down and just save it. That's it. It will automatically be as primary. There's nothing else to do here. I save it. Okay, so when I go to go down, I say create new now again, because as you can see here, Jnagar go down exists by default for the company. So from main location, I have changed it to Jnagar go down. Now this Jnagar go down has become the default go down. That's what it says. Jnagar go down exists by default for the company. Now let's say I want to create other go downs. I go to this option called as create new, and I create. Let's say, for example, JP Nagar go down. Alias will be nothing, and it will be under primary itself. Okay, like this I can write place wise go downs. MG Road go down, Rajajinagar go down, Chennai go down, T Nagar go down, Goa go down. Like this I can go on writing. Okay, but instead of that, I'm just putting it in short. Let's say let's put it as unit 1, okay, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5. So like this, I will create the multiple go downs and go on. Okay, and I save it. Now I want to check all my go downs which I have created. So I can go to outer chart of accounts, go to go downs, and there you have all your go downs with all the go downs which I have just created here. Okay. So any doubts in this, students? Do you have any doubts? If you want to ask anything, you can ask. In go downs and in documentation, do you have any doubts? You can ask. Okay, fine. So we'll just continue. Okay, so I press escape. I come back to gateway of tally. Now create. Now we have done with go down and the unit of measure, that is basically unit. Now the next thing that we have to create is basically our stocks. Stock is nothing but our goods, okay, which we are dealing with, whether what you want to purchase or you want to sell something, all those goods that what you want to do, or what are the goods that you're doing for the transaction, those things will be entered over here. Okay, so we go in an order, we go in a particular order here. The first one is, okay, so you have here as stock group, stock category, and stock item. Okay, so what we will do is we'll go in an order wherein we will start first with the stock category, then we'll be going to the stock group, then we go to the stock item. Okay, this is the order so that it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, now what is this? What exactly are these three things? Okay, now if I talk about stock category, stock categories are basically the main headings. Okay, as you can see, it is mainly used to easily identify or allocate the stock items in the table. Okay, now for example, here I have written some examples over here. Okay, see, okay, home appliances, stationery, jewelry, computer. Let's take it as mobiles, spare parts, of computer, something like this. I enter. Okay, so these are basically the main headings. Okay, these are basically considered as stock category. Okay, now coming to the stock group, how can we explain stock group? If I say home appliances, in home appliances have many things which comes under it. Let's say, for example, TV, fridge, washing machine. Okay, you can also say as uh, stationary. I'm say ACs. Okay, like this also we can say and we can consider them. Fine. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, home appliances. So under home appliances, I have TV, fridge, washing machine, ACs. Like that we can consider. Let's say stationery. Okay, stationery also we can say it as books. Okay, pens, pencils, files. Like that. Jewelry is, let's take it as gold, silver. Okay. Now, what about computers? Can anyone tell me? How can we define computers? I mean, how can we categorize computers? Keeping the above example, how can you categorize them?
Monitor, PC, mouse, laptop.
Okay, laptops. Also, we can say it as desktops. Okay, laptops and desktops, we can categorize them as. What about for mobiles? How can you categorize for mobiles?
Android, iPhone.
Fantastic. Android. Okay, instead of iPhone, we can also say it as iOS, something like that. Okay, so like that. Okay. Next, the spare parts of computers. What we can do is individual parts like monitor.
Keyboard.
Yes, CPUs, printers. Okay, like this we can categorize. Okay, so if we can see here, these are all considered as stock categories. These are all stock categories which you have a home appliance, stationery, jewelry, computer, mobile, spare parts. These are all stock categories. Next to that, what I have put here, the next second level, okay, these are called as your stock groups. Okay, these are considered as all your stock groups here, which is considered as a second level of each and every stocks that you have. Now, coming to the third one, that is your stock item. Okay, stock item, how can we define? Let's say if I say home appliances and if I say TV, in TV, what? Let's say LG TV, something else, LG TV. Or let's say if I say fridge, Samsung fridge. Okay, or if I say washing machine, Whirlpool washing machine. Okay, yeah. Like this, if I say AC, Voltas AC, like this we can consider them as. Okay, these are basically with the brand name, whichever has a brand name in it, you basically consider that as a stock items. Okay, these are basically all your stock items. Same way here, let's say for stationery, if I say books, okay, let's say I can say as classmate books or
Butterfly.
Camden books.
Camel.
Okay,
Chandra.
yes, 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 that's right, Chandra's, Vidya, whatever the books we have. Yes, and also if I say pens, let's say Reynolds pen, Parker pen. Okay, and files, let's say Nandi office files, like that we can consider. Let's say here for jewelry, gold, silver. Let's say for gold, let's say take it as Ratna gold chain. okay, or let's say RR silver, something like this. Okay, next, let's say computers, and in computers we have laptops. In laptops, let's say Acer laptops. Desktop we have Dell computers. Okay, and finally, let's say for mobile Android, we can say it as Vivo, okay, V9, something like this. And for iOS, we can say Apple A6 or 8, something like this. Okay, fine. So these are basically your stock items. Stock items, if you have to clearly understand, is the one which contains all the brand names, okay, brand names, and is the final level of each and every stock that you have. Okay, so using these stock items, okay, using the stock items itself, we'll be able to pass in the transaction, which will be easier for us to understand and pass it in the transaction. Fine. So home appliances, okay, these things, home appliances, stationery, jewelry, computers, okay, mobiles, all these are the main headings. All these main headings are considered as the stock categories. Next, you have the stock group, which is the second level of each and every stocks that you have. Okay, basically the stocks are basically classified into subheadings or the subgroups. Okay, so for each and every stock categories. Okay, and finally you have the stock items, which is the final level of each and every stock, which basically contains the brand names of each stocks. Okay, so these are the three levels of stocks that you have to create. Okay, but most of the time it is not necessary that you create these stock categories and the stock groups. Most of the time it is not required at all. Directly you can create the stock items and you can pass a transaction. Since we have these options, I just want to explain. So we can also use these stock categories, stock groups, including the stock items. Fine. So as you see here, stock category, it is used to easily identify and allocate stock items in the statement. It is considered as a title name assigned for the business. Stock group. Stock items can be grouped together under stock group. It is used to easily identify and allocate stock item in the statement. Items of a particular brand can be extracted easily. So it is considered as the second level of each and every stocks. And stock item is the final level of stock. It contains all the brand names and the GST taxes are entered in. Okay, so this is how it is. So any doubts in this? Any doubts in this particular example or this explanation what I gave you here? Any doubts? Okay, fine. So what we'll do now is we'll start creating all these stock categories, stock groups, and these stock items now. Okay, and for all these three things, there is no default name which is created. Okay, so there is nothing to be changed or any default name which is present. So what we can do is we can directly create all these stock groups, stock categories, and these stock items as well. Okay, so the first thing what we'll do is we'll create all the stock categories, every stock categories what we did here in this particular example which I showed you. All the stock categories we can create first, and then we'll create the stock groups, and then we'll go on to the stock items. Okay, first all these green ones, all the categories we will create now. Okay, so what we do is from gateway of tally, we go to this option called as create, and we go to stock category. Okay, so if you see on this particular screen, there's only I mean, say the name what we have here, the name of the stock category, alias, that is the other name for it. If you want, you can give it, and under this primary. So here as well, it will be only primary. So it is just simple. Just what you have to do is just give the stock category name and you save it. That's it. Give the name, save it, give the name and save it. That is how you do it. Okay. Any doubts, anyone? Someone is about to talk or something, I guess. Okay, fine. Okay. So as I was saying, you create your stock category over here. So let's go one by one, which we already did. So we start with the home appliances, then we go to stationery, then jewelry, computers, and mobiles. Okay, so yes, now here home appliances. There's no need of alias. Okay, I'm just skipping this part, and under will be as primary itself. There's no need for you to enter anything as primary. I'm saying this particular heading under. Just give the name as home appliances. Select the group under as primary itself, and you save it. That's it. So basically, you enter the name and you save it. So home appliances done. Next, stationery. I save it. Next, mobiles. Next, computers. Okay. Next, we have is jewelry. Okay. Next, spare parts of computers. Something like this. Okay. So you can go on creating the stock category, that is one by one. Okay. Any doubts? Okay, fine. So my stock category part is completed. Now going to the next part, that is my stock group. So all this stock category part I have done. Now I'm going to my stock group, these blue things, the blue ones which I have highlighted. Okay, so all these again one by one I have to create. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so all these things one by one I have to create it over here. So what I do is, so escape. Let's say from first I come. Now I have to create the stock group. So from gateway of tally, I go to create, I go to stock. Now here, let's take the first one. Let's say TV. Alias is not required. Under this primary itself. Next, the other two options what you see here, should quantities of items be added? Okay, no, and set alter GST details, no. These two things are not required. Okay, let it be as no itself. Okay, why I'm keeping this as no is because, let's say for example, if I'm a mobile stores company, okay, and I sell only mobiles, okay, and the tax rate for mobile is, let's say, 18%, 18. Okay, so what I can do here is directly over here, okay, set alter GST details. This I make it as yes, and I press the enter key. When I press the enter key, you get this screen over here like this. This same screen, what you have here, even yesterday when I was doing, you got the same screen there. Okay, can you tell me where did we get this screen? You would have seen the screen yesterday when I was doing something. So where do we get this particular screen? Anyone? Okay, fine. This same particular screen, you get it here in your stock group, and also when we were activating the GST, that is F11, enable goods and service tax, GST, yes. After you make this as yes, you get a screen. Okay. From here, the same thing. See, set order GST rate details. If I make this option as yes and press enter, see, you get the same thing. Okay. So this particular screen is basically used, okay, whenever you want to put the tax rates. Okay. So let's say I want to put any tax rate over here. That tax rate I can enter it over here. Okay. The same thing is done on this stock group screen as well. Set order GST details and make this option yes and press enter. I get here. Okay. So this is a place where you enter all your tax rates. Okay, that 18% tax or anything. All those things are done over there on that particular screen. Okay. So what I'll do here is, so here on the stock group creation screen, here I can enter the tax rate, or also the screen which we just saw where we activate the GST. There as well we can enter the tax rate. Okay, so on the GST screen, when we are entering the tax rate, that is 18%, that full 18% will be taken for all the transaction or for all the stocks which I'm working on. Okay, so since I'm working on multiple stocks, let's say TV, fridge, washing machine, stationery items, and everything, for each and every item, the tax rate is different. So what I'll do is I can't put the tax rate in this, what to say, F11, and on this particular screen, I cannot enter the tax rate here. If I enter the tax rate here, okay, as 18%, the same 18% will be taken for everything, for books, pens, pencils, TV, fridge, washing machine, everything. So that is why yesterday I didn't do anything with these additional details which I have it here on my F11 activation screen. Okay, so that is why I left it idle. That is why I didn't do anything with this additional features over here. That is why I skipped this. Okay, so here as well, in your stock group also, yes, we can activate or we can put the tax rate for this as well. Okay, but what I'll do is I will not put the tax rates over here. I'll just put it in my other screen where you'll be able to clearly understand and work on. Okay, so what you have to do now is when you're creating the stock group, just give the name, the stock group name as TV, fridge, washing machine, AC, whatever it is, under this primary, and the other two options will be as no itself. There's nothing you have to do. Okay, fine. Everyone, any doubts in this? Any doubts in this explanation what I did? Okay, fine. So once I've done this, I save it. TV, fridge, okay, TV, fridge, washing machine, okay, AC is like that, you can go on. Let's say next, books, pens, pencils, files, okay, next, Android, iOS, okay, next, gold, silver, okay, next, desktop, laptops, okay, next, spare parts like monitors, printers, keyboards. So like this, I can go on creating all the stock groups here. Okay, fine. So this is how you create your stock category and stock group. So for stock category and stock group, you just have to enter the name and you just have to save it. There's no need for you to do anything with these options. When you're creating the stock category, just give the name, select as primary and you save it for stock category. Whereas for stock group, what you have to do is you have to just enter the name here as well, select as primary and keep these two options as no. That's all. That's how you do with these stock groups and stock categories. So once you are done with this, if you have to check it, go to Gateway of Tally, Chart of Accounts, and let's say you go to stock category first. See there you have all the categories what we just created. Next you go to stock group and you have all your stock in that. Okay, so this is how you create your stock categories and stock groups. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Now we'll come to the third level of stocks. That is your stock item. Now, before I go on with the stock item, there are a few things which I have to find out. A few things are very much important, which has to be found out for this particular stock item. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, let's say only two stocks we will work on. Okay, or two or three stocks we'll just work on. Okay. Now, let's go back to that stock items which we just created. Okay. Yeah. Now, what we'll do is only few stock items we will just work on. Okay. Now, let's take Gst. Okay. Now, does anyone know what is the tax rate for TV? What is going to the actual tax rate? What is the current GST tax rate for TVs? Anyone? Okay, fine. No problem. If we don't know what is the tax rate and if we are not aware of all these tax rates, it's very easy to find out. Okay, just go to your Google and search for it and do things. Okay, now before we go on with that, okay, we have something called as HSN number. Has anyone heard of this thing called as HSN number? The full form is harmonious synchronous nomenclature. That's the full form of that thing. What I said, HSN number. Have you heard about it, or do you know what exactly is that HSN number? Okay, fine, no worries. Now, HSN number is basically a kind of what do you say, a number which is given for each and every stocks or each and every product. Now, for example, I want to find out what is the HSN number or number for let's say TV. For this particular TV, I want to find out the HSN number. Okay, so what I do is I've just opened here the Chrome. Okay, yeah, I'm in Google now. Okay, it's very easy to search in this. Okay, so here what I'll do is in the search box in Google search, I'll just put as HSN for let's say TV. Enter. Okay, as you can see here, you have this as HSN code 8528. Okay, yeah, okay, HSN code 8528. And you can see the product description, what type of a product is: monitors, projectors, not incorporated television. Okay, receipt apparatus. This is just a brief explanation of it. Okay, so this HSN code is nothing but it's just like what you can say, a kind of roll number. That is, in colleges you have your roll numbers or your serial numbers, you know, which is given for you. Okay, just like that, these numbers are given for each and every product. Okay, So here the number for the HSN code for this particular TV is 8528. Okay? So I'll just make a note of it. So here what I'll do is next to TV, I'll put here is 8528. So this is the HSN code for this. Now I want to find out the tax rate for this TV. What is the current tax rate? So what I will do is using this HSN number, what I just found out, using this number, I will find out the tax rate of it. How? I go to the same Google. Okay, in the search box, what I'll do is I'll type as HSN, just type as HSN. That's it, and I enter the first link, pre-HSN code list and GST rate finder. I will click on this particular link. Now, what I'll do here is in this search box, I will enter the code what I just found out. That is 8528. Here I enter 8528 and I search. Okay. So here you have it. So 8528 and here I have this tax rate. So from which date it is effective? So from from 1st July 2017 till 1st July 2017 it was 28%. From 27th July 2018 it was 18%. So currently the tax rate for TVs is 18% over here. Okay, fine. So I make a note of that as 18% next to my. Okay, got it everyone? Understood with this? Okay, now again I'll explain. Let's say now we'll take for Samsung fridge. Now for this fridge, okay, for this fridge I want to find first the HSN number. So what I'll do is from Google itself I will search for it. Search for the HSN number. So HSN for fridge 8418. Okay, and make a note of it, 8418. Next I come to this HSN rate finder 8418 and I search. So here I have 8418. So from 27 July 18 it is 18%. Before it was 28%. That is omitted from 28%. From 28% it is shifted to 18%. So even this particular stock item is taxed at 18% itself. That 18% I have to enter here. Okay, and 18%. Understood everyone? This is the easier way to find out the HSN number and also the tax rate for each and every stock or stock item. Okay, this is how we find out the tax. Okay, so this HSN number, what we found out is just like your roll number or your register numbers. Using these numbers, we will find out the tax rate for each and every stock item, depending upon their features, their characteristics, and also the size of the particular product. Any doubts in this? Okay, I guess you have no doubts. Okay, we'll just proceed. Now we will start entering these two things. Now for now I'll just show you these two things how we enter. Okay, it's the same way. One, how we do for the first two things is the same way you do for everything. It's easy. Okay, now let's go to the tally. Okay, now I come from gateway of tally. From gateway of tally I go to this option called as create. Next I go to stock item and I come to this. Now here the first thing, so I am working on LGTV, so I create here as LGTV, the name as stock item name as LGTV. Alias is not required. Under means to say is your stock group. So if you see on this right hand side, you have all the list of your stock groups present. So what is the stock group that I select for this particular? For LGTV, what is the stock group that I have select?
TV.
Yes. So I select TV. Okay. Now, after I select the stock group as TV, okay, next you are having the option here as unit. But before that, there is one more option that has to be placed over there. That is, there's something else that has to be brought under over here. Okay. That is what all we created. We created units of measure. We created go down, stock category, stock groups, and stock item. Stock item, we are doing it right now. Stock group is over here, but the stock category is not present anywhere over here. So I have to bring in the stock category in this place. On this particular screen, the stock category option has to be placed. So what I do is, from this screen itself, from here itself, I press F12. Okay, again I repeat, from the same stock item screen, I'm pressing F12 option. When I press F12 option, I get this small box here. In this box, I search for stock category, the option called as stock category. There's no such option over here. So what I do is, I make this option, that is show more configuration as yes. Why I'm making this option as yes? Because there's no option related to stock category present here. Okay, so that is why I'm making this option here, that is to show more configurations. I press enter and I get list of all the headings. Now again I search for the thing and here I have it. Use stock category for stock items. So this option I have to activate. So I make it as yes. Okay, and I save. See, now I have the category. Okay, so previously I didn't have this option as category, so I had to activate it. How I activated this was I pressed F12, that is my configuration screen. Next, what I did was show more configuration. This option I made it as yes on the top. Next, at the bottom, I searched for this heading called as use stock category for stock item as yes, and I saved it. Once I activated this option appears over there. Okay, so now for this LGTV, what is the category that I'll select? For the category, stock category, what is the option that I'll select?
Home appliance.
Yes, home appliances. And what is the units of measure I can put for this? Units of measure, what can I select for this LGTV units of measure? What can we select?
Sir,
Okay.
can we select numbers?
Yes, you can select numbers, and also you can select as box as well. Anything is fine. Okay, you can either select box BX, or also you can select as NOS numbers. Anything is fine. Okay, but in this case what I'm doing is let's say everything I do it in numbers itself. So here I'm just selecting as NOS numbers. Fine. Okay, got it everyone? So if you had observed here, after we activate or create all those things, only then we finally come to stock item. Okay, so if we see here, stock group we are entering, stock category we are entering. even the units of measure we are entering, all these things which we have, after we create them only, we come to the stock item. Okay, now we come to the right hand side of the screen. So is GST applicable for this particular item? Okay, is it applicable?
Yes.
Yes. So before we did this stock item, we found out the tax rate for this LGTV. So it is taxable. So we say it as applicable. If it is not applicable, we say not applicable. If it is not present, if there is no tax rate for it, we say it as undefined. Okay. So this particular LGTV is applicable. Tax rate is applicable for this LGTV. So I select applicable. And you can see here, set alter GST details. You will get the same option. That is, when I press yes, you see here, this is the third place that you're getting this option. First was F11, when you're activating the GST. That time on that screen also you get it. And previously you did the stock group. There as well, you get the same thing. And even here in the stock item also, you have the same option. Am I right or wrong? On the three screens, you get this, right? Everyone? Okay, fine. Okay, so we get it on these three screens over here. Okay, one, we get it while we're activating the GST F11 and activating GST. And also previously when we did the stock group, even there we have the same option, set all the GST details, that if you make it as yes, we get the same screen over here. Now, if you observe, clearly observe the screen, this calculation tab, there's taxability, and there's only integrated tax that is showing there. Yesterday we discussed three different types of GST taxes: CGST, SGST, and IGST. Central goods and service tax, state goods and service tax, and integrated goods and service tax. So right now it is just showing for integrated tax. I have to include even CGST and SGST, central and state tax as well. So whenever you get this particular screen, whenever you get the screen like this, you have to press F12. Again, here from the screen, you just have to press F12. Okay. Now, on this screen, you just make the first and the last option as yes. Why the first option? First option, HSN and XAC. This HSN number, what we found out for each and every product, that like a register number, which I said, your roll number thing, that number thing has to be activated. And the last one, show all GST tax type, CGST, SGST, and IGST. All the tax type has to be seen. So that is why I activated the last option. The first and the last option has to be activated. Now I press enter. You see, this is how you get the screen. Description, HSN, calculation type, taxability, and you can see your integrated tax, central tax, CGST, state tax, SGST. So description, what I'll do is I put it as goods, and HSN number for LGTV, which we just found out. Okay, that is okay, let's go back to that. Okay, yeah, 852, it's 8528. Okay, 8528. So that HSN number I entered over here, 8528. Next, calculation type, we always calculate on value itself. We can calculate on item rate and value. Here right now we will be calculating on value. Taxability, again, yes, it is taxable, and it is 18%. So this 18%, when I enter, when I press 18%, and when I press enter key, automatically 9% will be placed. Suppose if it is 28%, I put 28 in integrated tax and press enter, it will show 1414. Okay, automatically it will split up with the tax rate. Okay, as I was saying, as we were discussing yesterday, okay, the integrated tax IGST will be the full tax, and CGST SGST will be the split up of tax. That one particular tax itself will be split up into two, and that's what is this. Okay, and there's no cess, so I save it. Type of supply, we are dealing with goods, so I save it. Okay, so any doubts in this? So this is the same procedure in which we create for all the stock items. For every stock items, we follow the same procedure itself. Give the stock item name, You select the group that's under. Next, select the category. Next, you select the units of measure. Next, you have activate the GST, that is make the GST applicable, and then set alter GST rate yes, and you get the screen where you enter the tax rate and you save. So this is how we create the tax rate, or and say the stock items with the taxes on the screen. Any doubts in this, girls? Any doubts in this today's session what we did?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. All right. So yeah, we again the same thing again. Most of you will be confused things. Don't worry about it. So next class again tomorrow. Okay, we will continue with the same stock item. We will start with the stock items, and then we will proceed with the transaction. Right? Okay. So if you have any doubts, okay, you can work on it, and you can ask me in the next class. All right. Fine. Okay. So have a good day. So we'll meet you in the next class. Thank you.